Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a hot-button issue that's been making waves across Europe, the recent migrant crisis at the Spanish-Moroccan border. Now, this story might seem like just another border dispute, but there's so much more going on here. So, let's break it down and explore the complexities and implications of this situation. First things first, the facts. Spain has been dealing with a massive influx of migrants from Morocco, with around 60,000 people crossing into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta in just one day. Now, this is no small deal. It's caused a major headache for Spain, and it's sparked a diplomatic firestorm across Europe. Now, you might be wondering why all the fuss. Well, let's talk about the bigger picture. Spain has been accused of being too permissive with its migration policies, and some European leaders are using this as an opportunity to push their own agendas. Personally, I think this is a classic case of political posturing. What makes this really interesting is the way it's playing out on multiple fronts. On one hand, we have Spain, which is trying to manage the crisis while also defending its migration policies. On the other hand, we have European leaders who are using this as a chance to score political points. Now, let's talk about the implications. This situation has the potential to set a dangerous precedent for how European countries handle migration. If Spain is seen as too permissive, it could encourage other countries to follow suit. But if Spain is seen as too strict, it could lead to a humanitarian crisis. Now, let's talk about the human side of this story. The migrants themselves are caught in the middle of this political tug-of-war. They're just trying to find a better life, and they're being used as pawns in a political game. This raises a deeper question. How can we create a more humane and effective migration system that respects the rights and dignity of all involved? Now, let's talk about the role of the EU. The European Union has been accused of being too passive in this situation. While some countries are calling for emergency talks, others are taking more aggressive measures. This raises a bigger question. How can the EU better coordinate its response to migration crises? Now, let's talk about the role of Morocco. Morocco has been accused of turning a blind eye to the migrant crisis, but it's also been accused of cooperating with Spain. This raises a deeper question. How can we create a more transparent and accountable relationship between Europe and its African neighbors? Now, let's talk about the future. This situation has the potential to shape the future of European migration policies. If handled poorly, it could lead to a breakdown in trust between Europe and its African neighbors. But if handled well, it could lead to a more humane and effective migration system. So, what's the way forward? Well, that's the million-dollar question. In my opinion, the key is to find a balance between security and humanity. We need to secure our borders, but we also need to respect the rights and dignity of all involved. Now, let's talk about the role of individual countries. Spain has been taking some bold steps to manage the crisis, but it's also facing criticism for its policies. Personally, I think Spain is doing the best it can in a difficult situation. But it's also important to recognize that this is a complex issue that requires a nuanced approach. Now, let's talk about the role of the international community. The US has been accused of being too passive in this situation, but it's also been accused of using the crisis to score political points. This raises a deeper question. How can we create a more cooperative and accountable international community when it comes to migration? Now, let's talk about the future of Europe. This situation has the potential to shape the future of European identity and values. If handled poorly, it could lead to a breakdown in trust between Europe and its citizens. But if handled well, it could lead to a more inclusive and humane society. So, what's the takeaway? Well, that's the million-dollar question. In my opinion, the key is to find a balance between security and humanity. We need to secure our borders, but we also need to respect the rights and dignity of all involved. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Until next time, stay curious.